a colossal victory, astounding. If just look at President Trump and his cabinet who he's putting together, it's not just make America great again, it's magnify America's God again, the God of Israel. And the speed at which it's happening is simply astounding. So we truly live in historic and prophetic times. It's such a privilege to listen to Mr. Davidiy now. Yair, I'm handing over the mic to you, it's all yours.
Shalom, we're here today to discuss another talk on the concerning the lost 10 tribes. We're going to talk about the lost 10 tribes, who the lost 10 tribes were, what is predicted concerning them, and what the divine intention, as we understand from the Bible, was. The divine intention was for the whole rigmarole, for the whole upset, one could say. Why the lost 10 tribes had to get lost in the first place? What were they doing out there? Why couldn't things be simple? And what was the divine purpose behind this all? And other factors. And these points are important. Those who are veteran viewers of ours who will be familiar with some of the concepts, but there are new insights, new approaches, or just the things you have already heard but put together in a different way, which is of value. And this whole study is important because it involves people in the world today. It involves the whole world. The whole of civilization is involved in this study. It contains the secret of what is going on in our lives, in the lives of our peoples, what we can expect to happen in the future. Also indications on what our individual tasks in all this should be, what we can do, what we can look forward to, what we can expect. And it's worth knowing, it's worth understanding. This is what we should understand, what we should look for. We should be inclined towards it. You should appreciate its importance. And for divine providence, for some reason or other, for some reasons, as if to say it, called us and others to present this. And it is being presented, so let's all appreciate what we are doing, what we are here for, what the Almighty expects of us, and what we are. So, you know what about the Bible. We all read the Bible. By the Bible, I mean the Old Testament, the Hebrew Old Testament, the books of the Bible. The books of the Bible concerns the Almighty reveals himself to us. The Bible has many books and many aspects to it. It has the Psalms, has the book of Job. It has messages for all of mankind, not just for Israel, for all of mankind. It has wisdom. It has insights. It is a key we can use. Everyone can use it. And in addition to that, it talks to us concerning the people of Israel. And through the people, what it says concerning the people of Israel, each and every one of us can find his own way, his own path, his own understanding, his own place in this whole thing. Originally had 12 tribes of Israel. We had Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were the forefathers of the Israelite nation. Jacob was renamed Israel. Jacob gave rise to 12 sons. 12 sons. Two of these sons were especially important, but all of them had their own importance, their own task to play, their own role to fulfill. The two of them especially emphasized, they are Judah and Joseph. Joseph had two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, who had the separate tribes in their own right, in their own, on their own cognizance, one could say, each with its own separate task to fulfill. And he is more to be involved in the international player events in history, what goes on around us, whereas Judah was more in the spiritual domain, but he too was to have his role in the political sphere. And from the Judah come the present-day Jewish people, and from Joseph come the English-speaking peoples, and from the other tribes come many of the peoples in Western Europe and related areas. Kings of Israel. The Israelites were in Egypt. The Israelites were in, that is, the Israelites from Canaan moved to Egypt. And Joseph, in effect, ruled over them. In Egypt, they were oppressed. And the Almighty delivered them under Moses. And they came out, moved through the wilderness. In the wilderness, they received the Torah, received the laws. And they conquered the land of Canaan and divided up amongst the tribes. Had a period of judges. After the judges came the kings. The first king was King Saul from the tribe of Benjamin. And after him came King David. After King David came Solomon, who built the temple. After King Solomon came Rehoboam, or Rehoboam in Hebrew, Rehoboam. In the time of Rehoboam, the northern tribe is headed by Jeroboam, or Yeravam in Hebrew, Yeravam, Jeroboam, the son of Nabat. He led the 10 tribes, 10 of the northern, 10 tribes in the north, and also Simeon in the south. And he led them to secede, to separate themselves from Judah and set up their own kingdom. Their own kingdom, known as the Kingdom of Israel, known as Shomron, Samaria. And these were the 10 tribes of Israel. This northern kingdom, this northern polity, it was a separate kingdom for a period less than 200 years approximately, when it was conquered by the Assyrians, and all of its inhabitants were taken into exile to different areas. And we can discern the movements. We can discern the movement of peoples emanating from these exiles. So, and the exiles can be maybe divided up into sections. So one section of the exiles was taken away. We don't know if it was taken away both from the land of Israel itself and also from the north, from the area of Antioch in the north, in close to the region, the present-day region of Halab, Aleppo. So they're taken from Israel to Aleppo, and from there taken overseas. Others were taken directly from the south, from the area by the Philistines, working on behalf in concert with Assyria and the Phoenicians. What happened? The Assyrians said we're much more important than we give them credit for. We do give them credit for. We acknowledge that they had the first world empire, the Assyrian Empire, but it's much bigger than we are aware of, and their ambitions were much more global than we realize. Also, they were in trouble. They were in trouble. They had trouble controlling the peoples they had conquered, even though they had picked them up and moved peoples from one area to another, interchanged populations. Nevertheless, they still had troubles controlling them. And also, they were being attacked from the north and had internal weaknesses, and they had a lack of raw resources, so they attempted to expand overseas. first they may have gone to Italy, they may have gone elsewhere, but very soon they came to Spain, the area of Spain, and they some there they set up large farms, large plantations, one could say, to produce agricultural products. And also in the southwest of Spain, they began to work the mines. They had silver. The silver mines of Spain were very important. They had some tin, some iron, and also, and from that was in the southwest of Spain, also in the northwest of Spain, they also did something similar. They also found minerals there, and they worked them. And from them, or either from there or together with that place, they also came to Ireland, where they did the same thing, also produced gold. Gold was found in Ireland. At one stage, Ireland was very rich in gold, it may still be, but no one seems to have found it. Whereas on the other hand, they also took tin and other minerals from Britain, tin from Cornwall in the southwest of Britain. Tin was very important at that time because they used bronze. Bronze is an alloy of tin and copper, and it makes it much stronger. And in effect, bronze was as good as, or superior at first, to iron, until the producers of iron perfected its production. For a long time, bronze was preferable to iron, and it was so it would continue to be produced, and not only did they get tin from Cornwall in the southwest of Britain, also a little bit further to the north, they had the largest copper mine in the world in the Brit-Am area, where indications are that they used children, slave labor, as the book of Amos indicates. Children were used to work the mines in the Brit-Am mine of Wales. And that was a world center for the production of bronze. They also set up settlements, maritime settlements, settlements controlled by sea, apparently in Scandinavia. So that was one movement. This movement may not have been very great as concerning numbers, but it existed. It was as if to say, setting the stage for what came later. And the people running this weren't necessarily the Assyrians themselves. The Assyrians used proxies. They used other people who had conquered, people who had come into alliance with, to run this aspect of their enterprise, of their imperial ambitions. And this was run by Phoenicians from Tyre and Sidon and other Canaanite areas on the coast of Lebanon. The Phoenicians were also to establish the colony of Carthage, which also was very important in ancient times. Carthage, for quite a while, fought serious wars with Rome for control of the Mediterranean Sea, and Carthage was in effect a Phoenician enterprise, a Phoenician empire. And the Phoenicians also to be found in Germany, in the north, as has been proved linguistically by Theo Veneman, which is of interest, which is of importance. And in addition to the Philistines, in addition to the Phoenicians, they also had Philistines. Philistines from the south of Britain, the Philistines of the Bible, they're also important maritime traders and sailors. And they had a Phoenician and Mycenean, Greek culture. And many finds that archaeologists they find them all over Europe, which they trace them to Mycenean culture. or Minoan culture, they actually probably in many cases pertain more to the Philistines than they do to the Greeks, because they shared a similar culture. So that is also worth noting. And the book of Amos refers to this, as we have explained, as can be seen by the simple text. But in some places you need to know a little bit of Hebrew or have the Hebrew explained to you to understand the importance of it. But that is a point of interest. So in addition, apart from this movement to the sea, which was important in itself and set the stage for later movements, it did not involve a good portion of the population. A small proportion of the population of exiles from the Israelites were taken away. The Israelites were quite numerous, and all of the Israelites were exiled.